Starting out a little different today. No hike, no nature walk. It's supposed to get below freezing tonight, hard freeze. And it's early September, so that's really a lot earlier than it usually freezes here. But because it's of the early freeze, I need to do a bunch of harvesting today and figure out whether or not I want to cover stuff and hope it survives, or just to pick it all. So I am out here in the garden and trying to figure out where to start. Got lots of tomatoes. Over here is just flowers that have gone to seed, so I don't have to worry too much about that. But I have a lot of apples on this tree, and they're really good apples. And then I have a couple of plum trees. Oh, and I have a cat in a tree. Hi, Tulsi. She's feeling a little bit left out, I do believe. Hey, sweetie. Yeah, that's Tulsi. And we have Boris over here. He's getting ready to climb the tree too, I suspect. And so I'm trying to decide if I should pick all these plums. They're not quite ripe yet, but I know they'll ripen in the house. I also have all these pears and another plum tree over here, and another pear tree, a couple of pear trees, a pair of pear trees, and sorry, grapes, which I've been furiously picking and drying over the last few days, and another plum tree. These aren't even close to being ripe, so I'm not going to worry about them. And then another apple tree, and a couple of very bedraggled looking peach trees. They are not doing well this year, and I think it's because of the heat, but still want to make sure to pick the peaches. So I've got my work cut out for me this morning, and I'm just trying to decide where to start. I think I'm going to start with harvesting all the zucchini, because the zucchini definitely will not make it through even a frost, let alone a freeze. So this is where I'm going to start. My kittens are very interested in what I'm doing. They're very, very friendly kittens. And so I'm just going to set the camera up so you can watch me do some harvesting. I know that by the end of summer, a lot of people are really sick of zucchini, but I will take these and freeze them, and then be able to use them in casseroles in the fall and in the winter. And if I have enough of them, I'll even dry some, because then they're really easy to throw into soups, just to give it a little body and maybe some extra nutrition. And now these tomato plants aren't looking great anyway. It did get really cold a couple of days ago, plus it's been a really hot, dry summer. And so I think what I'm going to do with most of them is I'm just going to pull the plants out by the roots, and then put them in the greenhouse, which isn't really a greenhouse because it's the panels are so old, and it doesn't allow much sun in, but it's a great place for putting tomatoes in order to ripen. And if you just pull them out by the roots, they actually will go ahead and most of the tomatoes will ripen without having to be in the ground. So I think that that's my plan here. Too hard to pull them out. Although I do notice that the irrigation, you probably can't hear me at all, I'm realizing. So these tomato plants are really intertwined with each other. So this might be more of a project than I previously thought. I'm just kind of trying to work it out. Whew. Those are some serious roots on this baby. Alright, and I have to get the irrigation hose for drip irrigation. It's kind of tangled up in here. So, let's see how big this tomato plant is. You know, there's really not much here. I think I'm just going to pick these tomatoes off and throw the plant away. I shouldn't say throw the plant away. I should say compost it, because I very rarely throw things away. Try to compost all organic matter. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pick these tomatoes off. I have a bucket, and yeah, most of them are really close to ripe, and those that aren't will ripen in just a couple of days being in this bucket with all the other tomatoes. So my kitten is showing off a little bit, and he's in a bit of a bind. He's gone up too high the tree and isn't quite sure how to come down. And he's awfully cute. He's gonna pretend like he was just grooming himself. Hey buddy. You gonna be able to make it down? He tends to kind of be a show-off, and once he gets up there, he really has a hard time figuring out how to get down. And it looks like, oh, he's got a plan. There we go. Hey, sweetie. Boris. Oh. Yes, are you a big macho kitty? Oh yes, look at you. You're so funny. Hello. Hello. Are you a big boy? Oh yeah, he's such a brave boy. He really does like to show off. I don't know if you can tell. Hey Boris. Hey Boris. Hey pretty boy. Oh yes. Oh yes. Look at you. Look at you. Hello. Hello there. All right, that's enough of Boris. I forgot to show you all these grapes too. There's a mix in here of just green table grapes as well as Concord grapes, and we have a row here, and then there's another row the other side of the yard. Oh, and there's our kitty cat. I don't know what she's eating. Oh, it looks like she's eating a bird. Ooh. Hey, Tulsi, it looks like she's eating a bat. Tulsi, for some reason, Tulsi's really interested in chewing on this catalpa tree bush, and I'm wondering how she's gonna navigate this. Oh, I don't know what that was. Oh. She's trying to figure out how to, there you go. Neither of these cats are very coordinated, so occasionally you just see them in a tree and then they just fall. Decided I better get some of these good pears before it freezes. I'm not a big fan of pears, but these ones are really, oop! Shoot. These ones are really good, and they're especially good for drying. Let them sit in the house for a couple of weeks and they'll get nice and soft, and then I'll put them in the food dryer, and they're a really tasty snack. I'm always pretty motivated to preserve food for the winter. I really like eating food from our garden, and the fact that I can grow it, and I know it's safe, I know it's healthy, but this year, being 2020, with all of the fun we've had this year, I feel more of a motivation to, to process food and to have it stored, because with all the things that are going on, I think you can't be too safe right now. And so again, I usually do preserve food, but I think this year I'm a little bit more vigilant about harvesting as much as I can, because I want to make sure that I have plenty in storage in case we need it. And if we don't eat it, the beautiful thing about dried fruit is it lasts a long time. And the other thing is that if in the spring we still have a bunch of it, I can actually rehydrate it and turn it into jam, which is pretty yummy. There's something just so satisfying about a bushel of fruit. Oh, now I'm gonna pick the onions. They've been sitting in the ground, kind of drying out for a couple of days, and just gonna go ahead and put them in the basket and take them in the house and start cooking with them. And I think my famous sidekick here is wanting to show off a little bit. Whenever I'm nearby, he jumps in the closest tree. And I think it's just him trying to show off just a little bit. Yes, he's a good boy. Who's it, Boris? Cat in a tree. But I'd show you how I pick them, a few of them at least. Make it a little bit more interesting. Just they come out really easily, very little effort. And just put them in here, and you'll see they have a lot of dirt on them, but the dirt dries off, and then I just can kind of rub them clean. It's pretty cool. And the harvest this year is okay. Again, it was really hot and dry, and so some things didn't grow as well, but the onions are okay. And onions are one of my favorite foods, so I'm glad that we have. So as you can see, we're getting that basket almost full. And I've already got another basket in the house of these, so it should be enough to last a month or two. So this is my morning harvest. I have a basket full of zucchini, plums, 2 baskets of onions, some peaches, a whole lot of tomatoes, and some pears. And there's still so much out in the yard to harvest. So I'm going to be busy for the rest of the day.